Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode 50 of Direwolf20's Let's Play series. I have been doing a little bit of work on the frame quarry that I started building last episode, and as you can see, it's coming along pretty nicely. I've obviously expanded it quite a bit, lots of auto crafting involved in making this stuff do what it's currently doing, and if we flip this guy on, I'll be able to show you a little bit more easily where we're at with this build. So boom, we're on. So remember, it's 2 rows of 16 each per dense cable output side. So I've got 1 dense cable going in here, and I'm using frame anchors. I could have painted them if I wanted to, but I wanted to go with the frame anchors. I felt it kind of looked a little bit better. Should be just fine doing it that way. We're going to have to test to make sure there's any issues, but I think it'll be all right. So you can see that's 1 bundle, right? So that's 2 rows there. This is another bundle coming out here. Out the back side comes this set of 4, and then out the left side is coming this set of 4. So now clearly I'm going to need another ME controller here. I haven't decided exactly how I want to do this yet. I might go ahead and make a multi-block controller, which is definitely something that's doable. We can expand this thing out and have more sides available for more paths. I'm going to want 4 more sides available, so I basically want this thing to be twice as large as it currently is. But it's going to require a lot of resources before we get to that point, so I might just stick with it as it is now, get the thing working, and then expand it later. It will be easier, especially once I have more stuff available. So as you can see, it's ready to start eating items, which is cool. I'm pretty excited about this, so I can't wait to start playing with it. There's a couple things we need to do, though, and we're going to want to start talking about what we need to do, right about now. So as you can see, remember, frames need to touch every part. Now, because this is a multi-part, right, this is all 1 block, and you can see it's all contained within 1 block space, right? So that's why we don't need to worry about the wiring and the annihilation planes. However, these pieces right here are not touching frames, and when I was doing this earlier, I was testing it out and doing some stuff. I want to put them in, but we need to make sure that we have a way to move these, this row of stuff, and also including like these guys are touching frames right here, but these ones aren't, for example. These ones aren't. Now I can easily just place frames like so, no problem, and that should be all right, but we still need to worry about the other ones, and I'll probably want this to be a little bit cleaner looking, so we're going to want to do this in a nicer manner, and for that, we're going to use something that Funky Locomotion did really well, and that is frame multi-parts. So you can see I've got my diamond saw here, and I'm going to get like, I don't know, we'll start with this many. Cool. That should give me 2 stacks worth. Or is it 1 stack worth? 1 stack worth of frame covers. So frame covers work just like frames, but they're covers. However, it means you can only move 1 side of the block. Now you can also get yourself some hollow frame covers, which work just like covers, except, they do some other cool stuff like let cables flow through it. So we're going to get started here. There we go. We'll do this many. Probably going to need like a good handful of these. And you can always put this stuff back together, by the way. I think if you do that, well, there's some way to do it. You can do that, right? There we go. You can get your block panels back, and you can build it back up. So if you make too many of these, don't fret. So let's see how we're going to connect this up. So if we want these frames to function, we can put hollow frame covers here. Now there's something you're going to want to pay close attention to. You're going to want to have, and I believe I'm right about this, we're going to want 1, 2... Come on now. Sometimes placing these things is not the easiest thing in the world. There we go. That there. It's probably because I'm in bat mode. There we go. Get all our covers back. So we're going to want, at the very least, a cover here and a cover here. That will make it so that these can move this block. But in order for this to move this one up, I think we're also going to want, well, we're going to try it. Let's try it as is, and then we'll see what happens as we go along. So this is where it's going to get a little bit tricky because we really want to get in there. And I might need to wind up clearing away some of the existing frames. That should make life a little bit easier for me. So now I can go in here and do this, this, and that. So you can see the cables get to run through the frame still, and everything works really well with it. Trust me, it's awesome being able to do this. If anybody's played with frame machines in the past, you probably know how awesome it is that you can do something like this, because it makes the making of this machine just that much better. Cool. And remember, you want to keep in mind like where the frame is, right? So if you look at the block space, you'll know that the frame here, the cover, the hollow block cover, is connected to this dense cable, not the one under it. Now we might need to place one on both sides. We will see pretty soon. There we go. And let's try and get over here to cover these up. And my advice to you when playing with frame machines is test often. So I've not done a good job of testing often thus far, but we're going to in a minute. There we go. We'll run this up here. We'll get these guys connected back. And you're definitely going to want to have every block touching a frame in some way, shape, or form. So that's why I'm going to, at least for now, put these frame blocks like so. So is every block touching a frame? I don't think the ME controller is. So we'll definitely want that guy like that, probably. Yeah, let's see. Let's sleep through the night real quick. Brought my backpack with me. There we go. Sweet. And let's give this thing a move. So hopefully at the very least he can go down. So let's get our frame pusher. And I honestly don't know if this will work or not. Let's find out. Wow, it mostly worked. I cut something off somewhere along here. Oh, you know what? There's really no connection for all this stuff. So you can see how we had a little bit of difficulty. So let me get it moved back up, and then we'll be back to fix that. And I'll show you where we need to do to fix it. So I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think if we placed hollow block covers here and here like that, so that, remember, that's in both block spaces now, right? So if we look at it like that, we'll see that this frame cover is in that block space and this frame cover is in that block space. That might link these two systems together. Let's find out if I'm right about that. I'm still getting the hang of the multi-part frames, I'll be honest with you. It's still something that I'm a little bit new to. So it really doesn't matter where we put this thing. Cross your fingers that this works. Nope, wasn't enough. So you can see, what did it do? It grabbed that one, but, oh, you know what? I'll probably need to put, yeah, I think I know what I need to do. All right, so I added a frame cover, not a hollow one, just a regular frame cover there and there. So that should have this whole line be like connecting. So imagine if these were frame blocks instead of dense cables. That would basically connect this whole line, which would connect this side to that side. Let's see if that's correct. So we'll do this, that, and that. And if I did this right, the whole thing should move. Nice. That's what I wanted to see. Awesome. Then we can do this again. And these guys, I have to connect the tesseract back up. Oh, did you hear that? That's the sound of victory. That's exactly what that sound is. So if we pick this thing back up now, nice. Look at that, huh? Not too shabby. That is cool. That's what I wanted to see, and it did exactly what I wanted. And if we place our tesseract back here, we'll see that all the dirt should be in the AE system. Look at that. We just got 86 pieces of dirt in one frame motion. We're only halfway done. That is cool. So we know up and down goes correctly. Let's see if forward and backwards will go correctly. So I'm going to put this guy here and apply the signal. And it did move. Nice. And will you have any problems going back the other direction? Not at all. Awesome. And just as one more test, I want to see if it can go either way, this way. So remember, like I said, you kind of want to test all directions, make sure everything's running the way you would expect it to. There we go. And let's send it back. Awesome. Good, so this is a solid frame machine so far. Like, it is functional in all 6 directions. Up, down, left, right, forward, and backwards. Beautiful. So I'm back at my main base because I want to upgrade what's currently a frame pusher into a frame puller. And I want 2 of these. And I'll show you why I'm doing this in a minute. And while I'm at it, I'm also going to want some redstone blocks. I'm going to want at least a few of them. And I should also get some conduits. Let's go with enhanced energy conduits. Let's actually request 30 more to get crafted. And if I need them, I'll come back for them probably. It's going to take a minute at least. Let me get at least 8. And then we'll go take a look at the next piece. So one thing you might have noticed as we were doing this whole design idea, frames are not awesome about moving with their object that they're moving, right? So for example, when I tell this thing to move the entire structure downwards, the frame block itself stays in place. So what we're going to want to do is give this thing a push to get back down to its original position relative to where the frame used to be. Now, in order for this to work, we're actually going to want to move this here. Now, the other thing we can make is pretty cool. It's called a frame puller, and it's basically the opposite of the frame pusher. It'll pull a frame 1 block towards itself. We're definitely going to need some conduits to power this thing, so let's run that like so. Make sure it's got some power. Because I don't have these hooked up to frames just yet, I'm going to remove the conduits, and it should be able to, nice, manage to pull it up. So this design should wind up giving us the ability to go up and down with the frame. Remember, we're going to want to not forget about putting frame blocks next to the conduits. So let's give it a quick test. Now, the trick is, and this is what you're going to want to pay attention to also, let's get up there. If you place blocks of redstone here and here, it's going to make these frame pushers and pullers always want to move. And remember, you need to move the blocks of redstone, so connect those 2 frames as well. Okay, so this is an ugly design so far, but we'll get to it in a minute. So what we should be able to do now is, let's see, I wouldn't mind having a button instead of a lever. We'll be all right. Let's see what happens. Oh, I broke something. You know what it is? You need to move this one and this one as well. It's getting dark out already? Alright, better sleep. There we go. Nice. So now we should be good. Nice. See that? Perfect. Notice how it's immediately putting it back in the position ready to move. And then if we want to move upwards, we just do that. And then this thing is pulling it back up. I don't know why I'm getting so stuck on these things. I might not want to stand on frame blocks. Morphing usually helps. So again, place the lever, and it moves it directly up immediately. How cool is that? So we're like pretty ready to give this thing a whirl. For example, if I were to put this on here. There we go. Why aren't you moving? You should be able to move into that space. Is there something I missed somewhere? What am I missing? It's all clear. All right, let me figure out what's wrong. Oh, I see what I did. I missed something somewhere. Somehow this thing got moved upwards one. So let's fix that. Dense cable goes back here. How did you get moved like that? You really shouldn't have actually done that. But just to be safe, well, it shouldn't be necessary. So I'm going to leave it off and see what happens. So let's have this thing start going downwards. That's what was happening is it was actually getting stuck underneath these. See how this line is not getting cleared out? Because that piece had moved. It must have moved at some point when I was testing, and I just didn't notice. You guys probably noticed, and then were yelling at me throughout the video. Whoops. Okay, so let's try it. You ready? Here goes nothing. Go. If you place a redstone block, by the way, it'll kind of force it to keep moving like that. Nifty little trick for you. Now this thing will officially get stuck in a minute. In theory, that should be able to move now. Sweet. Okay. Now the problem will be when these frames get to one block lower. Watch what happens when I tell it to start going up. And it won't be able to move down either as a result of this. Notice that it dragged this with it. Now once it got one block lower, it would be trying to grab onto this dirt block, push it down into the dirt block below it, and it would get stuck. So we have to prevent these outer edge frames from pulling things with them. And it's easy as hitting it with a wrench. Sweet. So if we just hit these things with wrenches all around the outer edge, they should not try to grab things that are on their outer edge like so. So that kind of prevents the frame from doing a move, which is exactly what we want to have happen here. And let's do it. Go. And the slime decided that now's a good time to visit. Oh, that was cool. I heard it clunk. So we're definitely not working with this thing. So let's move this up for a minute. What's happening is this will continue moving if there's nothing that prevents it, but if there's something that prevents it from moving for just a second, it doesn't immediately force a move forward. So we should grab a timer, I think, from Project Red. That's probably the way we're going to want to go with this. So here goes nothing. I'm going to craft probably a couple. I've got one. I'll make a second just to be safe about it, and then we can head on back. Okay, here goes nothing. I'm going to pop this guy onto here, and I'm going to set him to an interval of 3 seconds. So every 3 seconds he should try to move. Oh, really? It's not pulsing long enough for a move? There we go. Now we're talking. The pulse is just a little too short. I might need a pulse lengthener. I'll be right back. All right, I wanted to have a little bit of wireless control on this thing, so let's take a look at this. I made some wireless transmitters for this thing. We'll do this and this. This can be frequency 2, 3, and this will be called frame down, set name. And this can be 4, frame up, set name. And now we can control these guys with levers. Cool. And what we're going to do is put the same things up here. So we're going to want a receiver here and probably here. Shift click to rotate that thing. I'm going to have them both turned on for the time being, which will prevent their timers from running. Let's see, timer here, and I should have a screwdriver with me in my blue pouch. Screwdriver, check. Sleep for the night, check. So we want the input to be there and the output to be there. This guy, I think, was frame up. Now he's no longer running. This timer will be frame down. Now he's no longer running. And we'll test this with a delay of 2 ticks. 4 ticks. Let's do 4 ticks. That should do. In, out, 4 ticks. And 3 was down, right? So if I flip the lever off for 3... Oh, that's like almost perfect. Ha ha ha, look at that. Oh man, that's cool. That is cool to watch. Just to be safe, I'm going to turn this off for a minute, or turn it back on, I mean. And that should stop it from moving. And now we can flip this lever, and it should come back up. Oh, that, my friends, is a working frame quarry. That's like pretty darn functional right there. How cool is that, huh, guys? What do you think? 3 seconds seems to be the perfect time interval, too. Alright, let's check it out. I'm going to stop this thing from running. And if we check, we should have a bunch of stuff in the AE system. Nice. Look at that. Wow. Wow, that is cool. Okay. I'm going to let it go all the way down to bedrock. And I guess what we'll do is come back in a minute and see how we make out. Alright guys, so as you can see, we stopped right around Y level 16. That's because I, of course, only put a 1K storage cell in here. But you can already see like the massive amount of resources we got. I'm actually going to fly back to my base and craft a 4K storage cell and throw it in there. Because I definitely want it to be able to finish at least one motion before it's done. I mean, clearly, right, we can do all kinds of stuff. But for now, I'm just going to snag a 4K. Please craft one of these. I need more of these. Luckily I was crafting them earlier because I needed them for all the annihilation planes I made. So you'll notice the frame quarry does stop when it's full, which is fine, and we're going to automate, you know, getting from point A to point B. You know, the pulling out of the stuff and everything. That'll definitely be automated at some point. So if we just pop this guy in here, the annihilation page should realize that it can put stuff in the system again and start moving again. There it goes. Sweet. Alright, back in a minute when we hit bedrock. So as you can see, I'm at Y level 3, which means we've probably hit bedrock. Nice. So here are the fruits of our labor thus far. We've got a lot of stuff. Not bad at all. And that was maybe, I'm going to say a minute or two, probably, to get down to bedrock. Yeah, it's like 3 seconds per frame move. And we went down, all right, so yeah, probably let's say 2 to 3 minutes to get from, you know, here to there. And eventually I want this to be a chunk in, you know, size, so it'll be a full chunk's worth of quarrying in maybe 2 to 3 minutes. That's not too shabby. So I'll turn that off, turn this on, and it should start moving upwards now. Ta-da! We will see it when it gets up to the top of the world. Hey, you know what, guys? I actually did forget to change this back to a 3-second interval, so it's actually 2 seconds that it takes for the frame to move and go. So yeah, it's actually going pretty well. Let's get it all the way up to the top, and then we'll be back, like I said. All right, guys, this is the next thing I'm going to make here. Throw some silver in. Was not prepared for so much bone meal. Let's clean up our inventory a bit. I'm in the middle of changing some things up, but I think we'll be all right. I don't need this anymore, and I could probably put away a couple other things into my blue pouch. Like this and this. So let's try that again. Silver and copper. And then what I need to do is, while that's cooking up, I need to head over to my magma crucible and throw 10 redstone in there with a bucket in the nearby fluid transposer. So 3 copper, 1 silver, and a bucket worth of destabilized redstone is going to get us what's called signalum, I think. something like that. There we go, Signalum Blend. This is kind of another, similar to, Enderium. It's also from Thermal Foundation, right? So it's Thermal Expansion's block and type of metal. And we're going to use that to make nuggets that we can use to make another nifty block called the frame slider. So far we've seen push and pull, right? The frame slider is a little bit different, and I want 2 of these for the time being. 1, 2. And we're going to take these guys with us, and we should also make sure we've got conduits ready and a bunch of frame blocks. Do we have enough? Yeah, I can throw a stack in my inventory. Good. Let's head back and put it in place and check out how to use this thing. All right, guys, so what we're looking to do now is slide this thing, let's say, in that direction. Okay, so let's put a frame slider down, and I'm going to put you there. Right-click to set it, and then shift right-click to change the direction. You want to basically look at the arrow, and you'll see that the frame slider, when given power and a redstone signal, will wind up, doing exactly like it looks. It's going to wind up sliding the frames in that direction. And then when it does so, it's probably going to need to be pushed again. So let's do this. Like so, with a redstone block on top. So if we give this guy a try with a lever flip, ta-da! Working beautifully. Now all of a sudden I'm getting a little bit of lag, and I'm not exactly sure what the cause is, so I have to figure that out. Also, it looks like this thing needs to be moved properly. So I'm finding all kinds of things that aren't configured right. Oh yeah, look at that. Few things that I need to properly handle in order for it to move sideways. Obviously, I only had it configured to move up and down. We want to be able to move in all directions. So we're going to want to set that up correctly. But, no big deal. Come here, you guys. Oh, I know what I did. I moved one frame piece and made a mess. That's the funny thing about frames, is sometimes you move one thing and you're like, oh, I broke it. Not a big deal, though. So we can just do this, this. I'm just going to have to rearrange this whole thing, aren't I? Yeah, I basically disconnected the frame system. Whoops. Let's place down our pullers again. So you're going to be set to pull that way, and you're going to be set to pull that way. And you'll have your redstone on top. You're pushing with your redstone on top, and then we just want to reapply the frame blocks. There we go. Okay, that should fix that. So I'll have to do a little bit of tweaking just to get these things to behave correctly, but my goal is to be able to move it at least forwards and backwards, maybe left to right. I'm not sure if I really need it to move left to right at this point, but I mean, eventually we might want to. And I might want to play with it a little bit, make it a little bit fun to control. There's some more testing I want to do to make sure it's running as smoothly as possible. You notice that all of a sudden there's a little bit of a lag spike, and I don't know what's causing that, because for a while everything was fine. But now all of a sudden when this thing moves, I'm getting like this weird lag spike that's just making it not behave totally. So I have to figure out what the cause of that is. We will hopefully be able to come up with what's causing that pretty soon. There we go, see? Now it's working fine again. Now that I don't understand. Huh. Okay, interesting. Well, we've obviously got a little bit more fun to play with. Alright guys, so this isn't, again, a permanent solution to this build, but what I'm thinking is I could probably actually have this here pushing this way, this guy here, and we want to make sure that he pushes that way. So this one's going that way, and this one's going... Oh, that's not going to be good. I missed it by just a second. Alright, so let's give this a try. And I figured out where the lag is coming from, by the way, and I'm very excited about that. So I'm going to want my redstone blocks to be here and here, and then we should be in good shape for moving this thing, right? So notice no lag. 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 No lag. Can anybody guess where the lag is coming from? The lag only occurs when the entire frame system is completely covering a hole in the ground that goes to bedrock. What happens is this thing slides over top, and now this is blocking the sunlight. And every time it moves, it basically removes the blocks, allows the sunlight in, and then puts them right back, blocking the sunlight again. And one of the things Minecraft is really not good about is lighting updates. In other words, recalculating how to display the terrain when light is hitting blocks and when it's not. So this massive amount of lighting updates has to occur all the way down to bedrock, all the way up to the frame quarry, when it's completely and entirely directly above the hole. So you'll notice here that when I flip this, and all of a sudden you don't want to move, do you? Oh, right, because I'm putting it on the wrong one. Haha, dire noob 20. There you go. Yeah, having that right next to each other is just not an ideal situation, of course, but that's okay. Easily fixed. There we go. And you go back here. There we go. Nice. So, oh, you didn't move? Oh, that's right. I need another block there. So a couple things, obviously, to tweak in this system, but we're getting the hang of it, right? Not too shabby. That goes that way, that goes that way, and we're going to need a frame block here to hold on to you as things move. Just like there's a frame block moving this thing, because when the frame moves, it doesn't grab the bottom of that block. So that's basically what's stopping that. So it's a work in progress, clearly, but we're definitely making some good progress on the way this whole thing works. So I'm going to play with it a little bit. So the only lag that I was experiencing, like I said, is when it's directly above the hole. That's when we were getting giant lag spikes. So you'll notice that, like right now, if I move this thing, it shouldn't be too bad. So no lag, right? But if I move this thing forward one, and I might need to just temporarily remove this. I obviously have to change up the way things are going. This was just kind of a temporary get up and go type of situation. Notice the big lag spike all of a sudden. See how long it took for it to move that one piece forward? That's because we're now above the hole completely. See? That's why I put the cobblestone down, because I was testing this. So as long as you're not completely covering a hole, you won't have those lag spikes. And I think once this thing starts moving and we've got like a big open hole behind it, we'll be in better shape and have less lag spikes. So I'm going to keep an eye on it. Hopefully we don't have too many problems. I think, though, like I said, we'll be pretty much okay. But like I said, right now we're directly over the hole, so watch how long it takes to... Right now, Minecraft is trying to recalculate all the lighting that's beneath this thing, and it's a giant nightmare of lighting calculations, which is no fun for anyone. There we go. We'll move this thing forward a little bit. That looks cool. And you'll notice it's much faster now as soon as we get away from the hole. One block away is all you need to be, and then you're in good shape. All right, so for now, Direwolf 20 going to sign off the episode. I will leave this build as it is. It's not finished. It's actually not super great even. I want to clean it up. It's a little bit messy, and I'm sure I could make it a little bit more efficient. But right now, it will work, and you can... Oh, by the way, I removed these things temporarily as I was testing, so I should probably put them back as well. Why don't I do that real quick so that if you guys want to play with it, you can. So we're going to want redstone here, redstone here. We'll rotate this thing. This was framed down. Timer on 2 seconds. Repeater set to 4 ticks. This was frame up, which I should turn on, by the way. And I'll set this guy to a timer, and I should have input, output, and then this guy ready to go. There we go. So now you can kind of play with this thing as you want. If you want to let it go down, you just turn this lever off, and within a second or two it should start moving downwards. Cool, right? Awesome. And you turn the lever off and it stops moving. And then flip this one and it should start going up. Cool. So I hope you guys enjoyed this frame build. There's definitely more to do to make it, finalized and totally complete. We will definitely be playing with this a little bit more next episode, and probably even maybe the episode after that, to try and make it not only look nice, but function perfectly and properly as well. All right, guys, for now, Direwolf20 signing off. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Take it easy.